what up? Football fans all over the world. It's your boy Mac, the Giants fan. Here with my guy, the super dope co-host, Adam Costas. You don't know what time it is. It's time for that real deal NFC East round up. Push that intro. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Real Deal NFC East Roundup. I am Mac, the Giants fan. Here with my guy, super dope co-host Adam Costas. How you feeling today, Adam?
I am doing well. How are you?
I mean, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right today. A lot better than I was on Sunday. I tell you that.
Well, listen, this is why we have this show, so we can go over everything and have the Florida vent. However, if you're a Giant fan, you're not going to like what's going to come out of my mouth when we get to that segment. I'm just letting you know. This is big time, but I'm not going to ruin anything. Matt got us fired up with that fire intro, so I'm gonna hand the keys back over to Mac and let him drive us through this show.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a minute, man. We'll get to those guys in a minute, man. That whole situation, but let's talk a little bit about Thursday Night Football last week, man. The season getting underway, NFC East style rivalry, big time rivalry matchup. The open season, just what a great way to open the season. What a game we got to start this new 2025 campaign. Philadelphia Eagles hosting the Dallas Cowboys, man. What was your thoughts from this one, man?
First off, you want to talk about an NFC East rival game? This lived up to the billing. Okay, I thought it was one of the best games of the weekend. Now, here's what's going to happen. Okay, here's what's going to happen. I know everyone's going to talk about the stupid, if they didn't have, the extra break and everything. Look, shit happens. That shouldn't have prevented them. That shouldn't have stopped them from being able to score. Both defenses rose up in the second half. If you liked defense, you liked this game. There were big plays on both sides. There was slugfest. Hell, we had Jalen Carter spitting on the quarterback to start the game. I mean, Mac, I'm sitting there. I missed the game, the first, 30 seconds of the game. Missed the guy getting injured. I come in, and all of a sudden, I'm watching this, and flags are flying, whistles are flying, guys getting ejected. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, this is the 1993 body bag game where Buddy Ryan and the Cowboys were going at it, because that's what it felt like. It felt like an old school NFC East rival. Now, don't mind the reference. I've been watching that Cowboys Gambler show on Netflix about Jerry Jones, and it just brought back the memories of the old days when the NFC East was on top. This game was, I thought was awesome. You had every element there. You had a guy kick a field goal from damn near 60 yards out. 60-yard field goal at the half. Like, this guy is a weapon. And all I can say is, if I'm the NFL and I'm looking at what just happened, this game was fantastic, because this is what you wanted in an opening game. It wasn't one-sided. It lasted forever because of the weather delay. You had everything, every element. The NFL had nobody else but them on for this. And you got an NFC East rivalry with a little controversy and a few things, and we're going to dive into it, obviously. But to me, this game came down to four plays. 4 plays. And we could be talking about a different outcome of this football game.
Absolutely. But from the top, man, I was at the point right at the beginning, come out there, you see a young talent like Jalen Carter lose his head, like lose his mind, and he's lucky he didn't get a little bit more punishment than he got. I mean, he did miss the entire game getting ejected before even the first damn play, and he got fined, but he's lucky they didn't spin him another game at least for doing something like that. I mean, to me, it's despicable placing the game for something like that. You gotta you was a star player. You lose your head like that in that situation. You just can't. You got he needs to be able to keep composure a little bit more. But at the end of the day, man, look, this game, like you said, it had a little bit of everything, man. It was a great way to start the season off. Like I said, Dallas Cowboys, people have been trying to crack their little jokes about Dallas Cowboys. This team looks like they are legit. They can go out there, hold their own with anybody. It looks like went toe to toe with the defending champs and had every opportunity in the world to win the game. A couple plays went the other way, and we talking about a whole different result here, man. So everybody was cracking all their jokes all season. The Cowboys cracked. The Parsons got traded and all this shit they had to say about the Dallas Cowboys. They went out there and represented themselves quite well on Thursday. I must say myself, like I said, I thought the Eagles were going to run over them. My damn self, I picked them to get blown out myself last week on this show. So you know what I mean, I'm eating that crow right now. The Cowboys went out there, they still took the L, but they looked very competent. They looked a lot better than I think people thought they were going to look, and my hands off a little bit.
I want to say two things. One, the fumble cost them the game because had Miles Sanders not fumbled that football, and let's say they get down, they were in field goal range with their kicker. If he kicks that ball in, now we're talking about a different game in the fourth quarter. We're not talking about them having to go down and score a touchdown. We're talking about them going down there and kicking a field goal. Right? Because at that point it was 20-24. So if you had that field goal attempt and that non-fumble, it's 23-24 with the ball in the Cowboys' hands. You're changing up. The other thing I want to say is BrianSchottenheimer. Hats off to you, my friend. It's almost as if you get rid of Mike McCarthy, you bring in BrianSchottenheimer, the Cowboys don't look the same. There were not the senseless penalties that they normally had. Sure, did they have penalties? Yes, you're going to get penalties in a game. But it wasn't the sloppy penalties that cost them. It was just the fundamentals of being drops. Now, CeeDee Lamb knows that he lost the game. He knows it. You know what he did when he got back from the facility on the red eye? He bought him. He went out to the jugs machine, started catching balls, right? From the plane. Okay? This Cowboy team is angry. They know they let one slip away. And not because the Eagles beat them. They rose to the occasion. Normally, on a game like this, Max said it right. They don't rise to the occasion. Every good team they normally play, it's normally a blowout, and then they beat these bad teams. Right? And that defense that you saw started to come together a little bit. Look, sometimes Micah Parsons is a great player. We're not going to take that away from him. But sometimes you already know how to deal with a player because he's not been there. Micah Parsons didn't play in many games last year. He was out for 4 or 5 games. So they already knew how to play without him, right? Eberflus is not a dumb defensive coordinator. He doesn't need just one guy. You saw what he did. There was pressure everywhere. And in the first half, they didn't bring any pressure. Once they started to bring that pressure, the Eagles had some trouble converting. Now, they went down the field and scored, right, that field goal. But other than that, they were shut out the rest of the way. So, and Dak Prescott looked the best I've seen him in a long time. He had confidence. He had command. And, oh, by the way, they ran the football with some effectiveness. Javonte Williams had some power. He displayed, that what comes to mind, because there's a lot of physicality this weekend by certain teams, is the run where he comes around and I think it's 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, whatever it is, short distance. Maybe it was 3rd and 5 or something like that. It was a short distance play, and he comes around the corner and he just lays the DB out and gets the first down. And I was like, man, that was a tone setter. These Cowboys knew that they weren't playing. I think the attitude and the swagger is there that I haven't seen. I know it's weird, but maybe BrianSchottenheimer has the elixir. Maybe not being Mike McCarthy is what they needed to hear, right? This guy is different, and they already look like they're playing for him better. And Kenny Clark in this defense, they got a guy that can stop the run. They held Barkley. The run stats are skewed because what they're counting is they're counting the rushing yards of Jalen Hurts. Sure, fine, good. But what they're not talking about is individually, if you look at it, Barkley had an average game. And the one thing that killed the Cowboys, and I don't know if it's scheme-related, if they were just naive, but listening to their interviews now, they understood the assignment, and I don't know if they're going to do that same game plan again, but what killed them in the game was Jalen Hurts' runs and not having a spy. And the Cowboys had a chance to stop them again, and then they ran man coverage, and Jalen Hurts just ran and got the first down. The game was basically over. I don't know if that was Sandstone, number 57. I don't know if that's different with DeMario Overshone when he comes back, number 13. I think he's 0 this year, but he used to be number 13. I don't know if that's a difference. The other guy that I thought that played well for the Cowboys, that may be one of those signings that we're going to look back at and say, damn, Jerry got a steal, was Kenneth Murray. That guy was all over the field. He was over here covering the running back, over here sideline to sideline. So I think the Cowboys, once they figure out their assignments a little bit, they're going to be a tough team. I don't know how many games they're going to win, but when you play the Cowboys this year, you're going to leave that game like, damn, they're better than I thought. They're not the sloppy team that you saw under Mike McCarthy. They just look different. They felt different. I've never seen their offense hum like that. I've seen them do big plays and all this. Dak went down the field, bing, 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 score. Bing, 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 score. Bing, 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 score. Like what? Like against a defense that is ranked number 1 last year in a lot of categories. It wasn't like some slouch defense they were playing. They were playing a good team, and they rose to the occasion. So I'm not sleeping on the Cowboys if I'm a Giant fan, which I am, but right now, hat off as not a Giant fan. I can't sit back and just let the Cowboys just disrespect the Cowboys. There will be a fight for the third best team in this division going down. And I know Jerry Jones, one thing I'll say, go watch that documentary on Netflix. You might understand where the wheels have been churning for Jerry Jones. It might open your eyes to things that have happened, because they kind of touch on this year's Cowboy team a little bit too, and how the inner workings are. So I don't know, man. I don't know about you. You sound like you're a little bit more impressed with the Cowboys than originally thought. I'm very impressed by what they did against this Eagle team, even though they lost. And Tiki Barber said something that was interesting, and it relates to the Giants, but I'll use it here. He was like, the Cowboy loss was just a loss. It was just a loss. It was two teams that one play decided the game. It wasn't like what we're going to talk about in a few with the Giants. It was just a loss. And for that, I got to give them credit. Nobody expected them to win, and they lost by 4 points in a game that everybody on the planet has said that they should have won.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I left this game. I like walking away from this. Like I said, I am quite impressed, because I was one of them ones that thought Cowboys were kind of joke. You know what I mean? But they proved flat out. I mean, they ran the ball significantly better than I thought. I mean, it's not as we look at it. Javonte Williams does run with a lot of power. Run forward, or he falls forward. Now, the guy's going to get. I mean, he got 2 touchdowns on the night. So, I mean, you look at him, he only averaged about 3.6 a carry. But at the end of the day, that was still good enough. Miles Sanders added that extra different flair when he comes in. When he got in with his 4K, he only had 4 carries, but he was 53 yards. So, just like I said, to me, I think that's when you said this Cowboy team is something that people want to respect. Their squad, that people will need to respect, and people are going to remember when they played this football team. Because, like I said, BrianSchottenheimer, they played a good overall. A couple mistakes here and there, like you said, a couple of those 80-man drops, they were big at the end. And he's got it, like you said, he went and took that serious. He took it to heart, man. He took accountability, went back and like you said, hit that jugs machine soon as he got off the bus, off the plane, whatever. That's just letting you know the kind of how he feels about his kind of player that he is, the mentality. So,
but that's a different mentality by the team, though. By the team, you know what I mean?
But I'm just saying, with this Cowboy team, with like this Cowboy team, to me, people pretty much seem to dismiss them and think maybe it's Eagles than Washington. Maybe not. Maybe this Cowboy team, maybe they got something for Washington too, man. Like I said, at this point, we'll see how things unfold. I think like Cowboy things can only go up for this football team. I'm not going to sit here. I don't want to keep sitting here slow with the Cowboys, but at the end of the day, they were impressive even in defeat, and it's something that was eye-opening to me, because that's not the kind of effort I expected. It's not the kind of game I expected, and I got my hats off to him. I shot and absolutely had that team ready to go. That Scott was cooking, like you said, and everything looked great, man, out there with that football team. Other than, like I said, it was a couple of mistakes, hiccups. That Miles Sanders fumble was huge. It was definitely a deflator. And just And who knows how things are going, man. A couple of things bounce the other way. Cowboys in the game. I mean, I'm definitely looking at a different result.
Right.
But Eagles also still for real. I mean, at the end of the day, their best effort. If you look at get the stat line, Jalen Hurts didn't have amazing stats. He's pretty accurate, 19 to 23. But he ran the ball a lot more than I would like to see him. 14 carries, ended up being the leading rusher.
Well, he had to.
Getting it in a couple of times. I mean, yeah, but I mean that's what I'm saying. But you don't really want to
Right.
necessarily see that. That's what I'm saying. No, he did what he had to do, but you don't want to see that.
Well,
And get your key receivers involved a little bit more as well. You know what I mean? Like Devontae Smith 3 targets on the night. AJ Brown only 1 target. You want to see guys like that targeted a little bit more. Those are go-to guys. Those are your superstars. You know what I mean? So you can get those guys involved a little bit more as well. But that's just nitpicking that shit. Overall, we got on Thursday night. It was a great football game, and it was a great way to open the season up. Probably the best open game in quite a few years.
I have to agree with you there, at least for opening night. The one thing I will say about the Eagles was I know we want to talk about their big targets, but I have to give kudos to the other side of the football for the Dallas Cowboys for handling 2 guys like that. Jalen Hurts was coming out on fire. He looked great in the first half, and they did bottle him up on certain rush lanes and things like that, and he was sneaky. There's one thing about Jalen Hurts: he may not be the flashiest guy, but he's a winner. Just like J.J. McCarthy in the Vikings game, these are the guys who, when they're on the mat and the money is on the line, they understand the moment. They don't fold in the moment. The moment's not too big for them, as they say. They rise up. However, whatever cliche you want to use, this is what Jalen Hurts is. And he won't ever be defined by his passing numbers. He'll be talked about, of course, because of rushing. I'm sure he'll end up with a decent rushing total for his career, but he may not have more than 32,000 yards or something like that passing, but maybe a multi-time champion and a guy that eventually gets his bust in Canton because of what he did, how much of a winner he was. And people look at that. We talk about that all the time coming out of college and pedigree and things that we're looking for. But the one thing that people never really look about is winners, right? Like that's where there's a guy like Will Howard, who I thought was an interesting prospect that the Giants wanted to bring in and groom. He was a winner. All he did was win. McCarthy, same thing. All he did was win. They know in the moments. I mean, McCarthy, there was a stat that he was like 63-4 or something like that over his years. So naturally, winner. I mean, that's what Jalen Hurts is. In Oklahoma, he won. At Alabama, he won. And in the NFL, he's now won. And I think his demeanor is really what makes this team go. And I think he was the MVP of the game on Thursday night. Without his timely running, I know, Mac, you said he shouldn't have 14 carries, but I do believe that was a product of the Cowboys taking out Barkley. See, what people don't realize is the game plan that the Kansas City Chiefs had in the Super Bowl is probably the game plan that everyone's going to use to bottle up Barkley. The problem is when you put all those guys in the box and you're trying to focus on 26, you forget about Jalen Hurts, and he sneaks out the gate, and he gets a first down. And he doesn't do it like a Lamar Jackson where you're constantly putting a spy on Lamar because of how Lamar operates, right? Lamar is probably running instinctually. So with Jalen Hurts, it's different. You don't necessarily always put a spy on him because you're not thinking, you kind of lose the fact that he can run and he's so sneaky good in it, right? And I think that's what the Chiefs did in the Super Bowl. They picked their poison, and Jalen Hurts came through. Cowboys is the same thing. They picked their poison, and they obviously lost because of not being able to contain Jalen Hurts. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't even know when these teams play again, but you can damn sure bet that shit's going to be flexed into the night slot again, because I'm sure there was a ton of eyeballs watching this game. I don't know what the ratings are. I don't know if you heard about the ratings, Mac, or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure it was all eyeballs. Like Mac said, the level of physicality in this game was interesting. The guys just getting hit left and right. It felt old school to me. It felt like the mid-90s. I feel like we're back in the mid-90s.
I agree with this comment, bookends, man. It's actually a great comment about Jalen Hurts, man. It's the absolute. I think you nailed it with this one, man. He says, "Hey, Hurts has gotten significantly better at throwing with accuracy too. He's also a smart quarterback, coach of the field. Exactly how he plays, man. His leadership absolutely shows on the field. And those guys believe in that man. So that's
Well,
just
just to
gonna
touch
always
on that,
continue to take the Eagles very far as long as he's out there playing at that level."
real quick before we move on. The play that comes to mind that he's talking about is the deep shot to Devontae Smith. I think against Akir Elam. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing the name wrong, but the DB that came from the Bills, he had decent coverage on him, and Hurts comes to the line, understands, makes his checks, looks across, and understands the down and distance and the timing. And when I watch Jalen Hurts, the calm and just you never know when he's going to go deep. He might be throwing little dimers here and there, and then bang over the top, right? And so, for me, I think that being a cerebral assassin and a quiet leader and going about your business and just being a winner is why he's going to be so good for so long. What he is right now, if you take his skills, he's a very good quarterback. But when you take his brain and add it to his skills, he becomes a great quarterback, right? And then the numbers may not add up, but the rings might. Right, the rings may say, well, and the clutch gene that he has, and in the moments that he understands, okay, it's 4th and 2. I see the safety creeping over. I'm going to go to AJ here on this play. If the safety goes left, bang, he goes left, boom, hits him for a 40-yard touchdown. So those are the things that we don't talk about, and maybe we need to look at the draft process and rethink things, rethink our scouting, right? Because this guy went in the 2nd round. And if you were to redraft now and put that career that he has out in front of him, he'd be a 1st-round talent all the way, right? If you told me I'm going to get this guy at Oklahoma, I'm going to get 2 fucking Super Bowls at him, and the guy was benched for a guy in Miami who looks softer than, a baby's backside, okay? The guy, Tua, he was replaced by the next coming of Joe Montana. This guy gets railroaded to Oklahoma, and like I said, all he does is win. So that bookends, great comment. Just wanted to go further with that. It's true too.
Yeah, reality check. AK, man. Also speaking, yeah, just more impressed. Makes everything he's done more impressive. Like you said, the fact that he has just a new coach, at least a new offensive coach, single season thus far of his career. So that shows how much more impressive everything he's done is. But what's going on, David? Thanks for popping in, man. I appreciate you. And Mosley, what's going on, bro? I appreciate you for popping in. But real quick, we'll just man, because let's talk about it. People want to rant. Let's talk about it, man. On Sunday we got opening day, man. All season we've been banging, we've been waiting, we've been happy, we've been hyped up, had the great preseason, had us all fired up, had us ready to go. We was gonna see something new, something different, and what we got was the same bullshit. Let them have it. Let them know, man. Let them have it, man.
Let me tell you something. I don't want to start out like this, but I can't believe this. I can't believe this. You know what I can't believe? I can't believe that I put on a jersey, Lawrence Taylor jersey, head to toe in Giant gear, because I bought into the dumb hoopla around this team. I bought into the little excitement that we had. Why? Because I believed in one guy who was supposed to be starting, but he's not. But I don't want to hear about this anymore. This effort is terrible. Brian Dable, let me start with you first, because I got a lot of people I need to fucking talk to right now. Brian Dable, how in the hell in 4 seasons, 3 out of the 4 seasons, you can't score a damn point, a touchdown? Are you kidding me? You're an offensive guru, and in 3 out of your 4 years, you scored 0, 6, and 6 points. Where's the offensive philosophy? Ooh, Buffalo. Ooh, this great guy. And another thing, where's the preparation? Your team coming out looking flatter than a fucking pancake out there. Have no energy. You know when I knew this game was over? When Micah McFadden broke his foot. I knew that shit was over because Austin Eckler ran you over. When Austin Eckler is running motherfuckers over, you know you have a bad fucking day. I knew it was a bad start from there. And then you put the fucking guy, Rusty Wilson, who I already know stunk. And I already told you about starting Jackson Dart, and here we go. And we put him back there, and what is this guy doing? Left, right. He's missing left and right. You can tell me all about the offensive line. At some point, you got to rise above it. At some point, you can't just keep telling me it's the O-line. You can't just keep throwing that in my face and telling me it's that. You can't just tell me that we have this great offense. Great job, Wan'Dale Robinson. That's it. He gets his 5 catches and disappears. Where the fuck is Darius Slayton? I don't want to hear anybody tell me that Darius Slayton's a good receiver. That guy did nothing. You're on the second cornerback on that team. You're playing a rookie. You should be running up and down the field, but you can't. You know why? Because your team sucks. Your offensive philosophy sucks. Your head coach sucks. Then this vaunted defense that I heard from people telling me top fucking 10 can't stop a nosebleed. You can't stop a running back by committee. I was told these fucking bums have no defense. I was told these fucking bums can't fucking do anything. They don't have a good offensive line. We're going to eat them up. All they did was run up and down the field for over 200 yards. And we're sitting here today trying to tell me that this team's going to win a goddamn game with that fucking effort. I can't believe this shit. And now, getting on to the quarterback. I know a lot of you guys wanted him to play. I want Dart in there. I need to see him in there. I don't care about the fucking O-line. They're going to suck. But maybe he runs for a first down. Maybe when the pocket is there, he doesn't throw things over. He doesn't look at the rush. Everybody and their mother has analyzed this game from ESPN to Fox News to whatever fucking outlet you want to watch. Everyone's saying the same thing. Start this kid. You know why? You know why? You know why? Because he's going to give them a spark. He's going to give them a spark. Something that we need. I can't sit here for a whole season going up against Dallas next week, fucking Kansas City and all these other teams scoring 6 fucking points. I can't do it. Give me something to believe in. And lastly, Joe Shane. I blame you. This offensive line is on you. I saw a stat, somebody sent me it today, that your whole entire 2023 class is ass. Your entire 2023 class is ass. So what are we doing here? You want to tell me that we have a bad offensive line? Well, Joe Shane, guess what? You brought in Runyon. You brought in the Luminor. You brought in Neal, who stinks. And you have Van Rotten, who's about to be out the fucking league as your guard. But you brought in no competition. You brought in a guy in the 5th round who's going to save this line. Andrew Thomas can't get on the field, but yet we don't want to put him on the pup list. This team is not getting me to wear a jersey until they put out better effort. I am not going head to toe with a jersey anymore with this team. And I'm sorry I went on a rant, but it's been boiling for 3 fucking days.
This team. Every year, I sit back and I fall for it every year. It's so gullible to just think that this team was going to give me something a little bit better. Go out Sunday. I mean, I got up first thing in the morning up in New Orleans on Sunday morning. Got on an airplane early, got home in time to make sure I got on time to put myself in front of my TV to watch that shit. Like, give me a break. And I'm sorry. I look. Look, I'm gonna bring it all around full circle, but that offensive line, no, I'm gonna start there. Cause now I'm not accepting it in one way, shape, form. That shit is piss poor, ass cheeks. Andrew Thomas ain't playing. I'm sorry. That should not have a ripple effect to that level across the rest of that line. Interior of that line got destroyed the entire game. The interior particular got not just that and Luminor played some great games either, but the interior, Schmitz, they got their fucking heads handed to them entire fucking game. The interior pass rush is destroyed the game for the New York Giants. Point blank period. Rush was coming right up the fucking every damn time. Every time he took a fucking snap. I'm not excusing Russell Wilson's ridiculous weird play either. He is what he is at this point. So I guess I'll eat the crow on that too. I was a little bit wrong. Maybe I did be a little better than we still be. Maybe he is just a career backup at this point. Maybe that is what he is. Because what I saw was a guy that looked absolutely old, a guy that looked shell-shocked, and a guy that maybe, I'm saying, it is time to go ahead and put the kid in. Man, fuck it. Because at this point, if the Lions look like that, Rush is just going to get sacked a motherfucker every week. And this is what it's going to be. So you're going to put the kid, he can move around a little bit more. Maybe he can avoid a few sacks. Maybe he can get some passes off. Maybe he can make some passes. Give this offense some kind of spark. With that being said, with the offensive line the way it is, are we going to be able to run the football? Not so sure. Because a single hole get opened up on Sunday. Not a single hole. I didn't see one hole get opened up the entire game. This offensive line is the root of the problem. At the same time, this shit still needs to happen. We talked about it last week, Adam. Once again, I'm going to need some more crow. I just made a video about it a little while before this live stream came out. We do need some other playmaker on this team, not named Malik Neighbors. Because once again, also on Sunday, what I saw was nobody making plays. Nobody making fucking plays. Malik Neighbors has all this coverage all over him, getting bracketed, safeties over the top, all kinds of shit, and nobody else can get open. Nobody else can make a fucking play. I don't understand that. Eric Slayton got one time. To me, either tells me that Russell Wilson was just continuously missing you, or you just gonna get the fuck open. You got that C on your chest now, bro. You got to rise up. I made the excuse about the quarterback situation maybe holding you back, but I guess I'm wrong, Adam. Maybe this guy is just who the fuck he is. Wan'Dale Robinson. All we got was another Wan'Dale Robinson kind of game. So I guess you just are who you are. Doesn't matter who the fuck's playing quarterback. I just don't. Right now I'm having a meltdown because this offense is just, it's like historically bad for the last years. I've lost count. How can we, like, allergic to scoring touchdowns? Allergic to scoring touchdowns. 3 straight opening day games, and we didn't get in the zone in 3 straight opening day games. Terrible. That is unacceptable. If this is now going back to last year, 7 straight divisional losses, or maybe, I don't even know, maybe even more than that. But at least 7 straight divisional losses. And we're probably 8. So, like, to me, and the defense ain't on the hook either. Like, people trying to make it seem like the defense is like us in this either. Moderated. They didn't exactly play like. They didn't play lights out great. They didn't get top 10 defense people think that they're going to be. They didn't look like that. They weren't as pathetic as the offense by no means, but they didn't exactly look great either out there. Run defense is absolutely atrocious. The Washington Commanders put up 220 on us, 220 on the ground. The Washington Commanders, led by a rookie, 7th draft pick, Jacoby Crosby.
Bill.
10 carries for 82 yards. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding?
8.2 yards a carry.
This team has got some serious problems. Serious problems. And the coaching, everything. Everything in this. Get inside the 5. First and goal at the 1.
You got 8 tries.
And we call a fucking tackle eligible to Marcus Bowe. This guy has probably never ran a fucking route in his life ever. That's what we want to call shit like. We want to do shit like that. And how we want. Oh, we catch him with this tackle to this guy. We never caught a pass ever in his life. Yeah, get the hell out of here with that, man. That's coaching right there. Because that makes no sense. Like you said, we had like 8 attempts inside the fucking 5-yard line. I had to settle for 3.
That's terrible. And we got
make it make sense.
By a penalty. We got gifted. Otherwise, we'd have no points. Otherwise, we'd have 3 points. Imagine that, Mac. If they didn't pick up the flag for illegal hands to the face to that guy, which was a questionable call because his helmet just kind of got. I don't necessarily think it was that, but if they don't make that call, we score 3 points. If they don't make that call, we score 3 points. And what people don't realize is that just like in the Eagle game, passes were dropped, this Commander team dropped so many balls. that they could have had more points. They had Terry McLaurin still running to the end zone right now. We couldn't cover anybody. Like, this overall from top to bottom was a bad fucking performance. And that falls on the head coach for not having them ready. How couldn't you have 4 years in a row not be ready? The only year you were ready is the first year you came into the system. All right. And then you go 3-13, 3-14, get your job back by the skin of your ass cheeks. Okay. You draft a quarterback, and then you come out and you're like, ooh, preseason 31 points against all these bum-ass fucking vanilla defenses, talking all this ish, smiling, high-fiving, looking like shit is going down. Guess what, Brian Daboll? Your ass is on the line right now. The clock is ticking on you, okay? You can't not have your team come out and play like that. Of all the games, all right, of all the things, all I hear every time we play an opponent is we go back to, well, we used to beat the Commanders. We were down by 3 points last time. We only lost this game. No, you know why? Because every year is different, and we have fucking shitty defensive coordinator, and we have a shitty offensive coordinator in Brian Daboll. And he doesn't fire his team up. Sure, maybe he did something with Josh Allen, but I'm starting to think Josh Allen did Josh Allen things, and Brian Daboll was along for the ride. Because if you look at what he's done, that guy is playing MVP. He had threw for 396
look that way.
Four touchdowns. Okay? So how the fuck am I going to rely on Brian Daboll and tell me, oh, look at this, when this guy, all he's done since you left has become better? So how am I supposed to believe that Brian Daboll is actually the man to develop the quarterback? How am I? What am I supposed to do? And now I'm supposed to sit here as his dumbass plays these coy games in the media. They ask him at the end of the game, oh, is Russ the quarterback? I don't know. Gotta look at the film. Then he comes out the next day and says he's the quarterback, right? But yet you don't want to play Jackson Dart, who's your number 2 quarterback. So if Russ Wilson pulls a hamstring coming out the locker room, who's starting up? You're not going to start Dart then? Like, this is ridiculous. And this is the problem that I have with Daboll. He thinks that he's smarter than everybody else. Everybody knows you're fucking a dead man walking. And if you decide to leave Russ Wilson in there, and the Giants, who, by the way, play the Cowboys this week, right? If you're getting your asses handed to you because there's no offense, there's no juice, there's no nothing, and you keep that guy in for the next 4 weeks against these 3 teams who are going to be pretty tough opponents, you might as well fire him after that game because you're a head coach. You got to make the hard fucking decision. The hard fucking decision is I need to sit the Hall of Famer. I need to do it for my own well-being, for my team's well-being. Because I guarantee you on Sunday, there's going to be a ton of eyeballs on you, and the national media is going to be looking at you. And that Cowboy team ain't going to lie down for nobody. So you better have this team ready to go. Otherwise, I might fire you outside of Jerry's world.
Look, again, a couple other people, like I said, I didn't mention before. Theo Johnson, bro. I'm sorry. You taking snaps away from Daniel Bellinger. At least Bellinger catches the fuck ball when you throw the ball to him. But yeah, Theo Johnson, you out here taking snaps from this guy. You're dropping shit all over the fucking place. Dropping shit that's hitting you directly in the hands. Even hard passes to catch. Bro, they're not like things where it's like it would have been a great catch if you would have been able to reel it in. No, you're dropping shit that's hitting you right directly in your hands. Like, I can't with this fucking team, man. This whole team and JMS, I am tired of looking at him out there on the field. He fucking sucks. And the fact that we brought no real competition in for him, awesome. Like I said, all season. That's his big factor this all season. Joe Shane was not bringing in legitimate competition in the center position for JMS. For just thinking we're going in and must once again paying this guy over the keys to that job, and he fucking stinks. I'm sorry. He does not get it done. All I see is whoever we play against is the pass that they are able to generate from the middle of the field every time, all the time. And what we witnessed in this game on Sunday. Because like I said, I'm not acting and Lenore played great games either, but they were significantly better than the interior of that line. That's for damn sure. He wasn't getting a lot. He wasn't getting a lot off the edge. You were getting mostly up the fucking gut. And I just don't get it. You can't move anybody out the way. Evan Neal, I know he's nobody's savior. Why is he a healthy scratch? Just these things, I just don't get it. And Jalen Hyatt, I know he's not everybody's favorite guy, but at the same time, why is he not even getting on the field? Why is he not getting on the damn field? I just don't understand the decisions this team makes. But let's not just make this all about the New York Giants. other NFC East team on that field as well, Adam, and that was the Washington Commanders. What did you get out of what you saw from the Washington Commanders?
I saw they are a good team. You know how I know they're a good team? And I know everyone's like, oh, well, that's what you saw, Adam. Great job. No, you're a good team when you can play bad and still win. Okay? They had drop passes, they missed wide open guys, and yet somehow they still come up with a victory, right? Their defense did enough for them to win the football game. They were decisive. They have Javon Kinlaw. Javon Kinlaw, who did nothing with the 49ers, right? Comes in, looks like an all-pro. Finally, next to their guy, Deron Payne. Their defense was all over the field. Heck, their defense was pitching for that shutout. If it wasn't for a few mistakes by their defense in terms of penalties and stuff, they would have pitched the whole shutout. They would have pitched a shutout. To give up no touchdowns in an NFL game, you know how hard that is? The entire NFL scored a touchdown besides the Giants. The entire NFL, people. And I know the Commanders have.
Fuck that. Daniel fucking Jones. Daniel Jones accounted for 3 touchdowns Sunday. Let that think in.
And so here we are with the Commanders, who I feel their offense is going to be spectacular. Debo Samuels, how could the Giants are still falling down as that guy? They telegraphed that guy was coming to you, and he just ran right by you for 19 yards for a touchdown. Not a single soul touched him. And you know why? Because Cliff Kingsbury is a better coach than Brian Dable. He understands his personnel. He understands what he needs in terms of how Jaden Daniels runs. He doesn't put his quarterback in harm's way, right? He puts him in the shotgun and allows him to operate. Those 3 sacks, the 3 vaunted sacks that the Giants defense got, let me break them down for you. Brian Burns came off the edge untouched. I could have made that sack, okay? He came in and was in the backfield. The second one that Brian Burns had, he went up against the rookie. Well, guess what? You get paid $150 million. I expect you to beat a rookie. And then you had a half a sack by Kayvon Thibodeau, who, by the way, people, he is who he is. He's not that good, okay? That guy should have been eating in the backfield. Eating in the back. I understand you got Laramie Tunsil, but every time this guy plays a good tackle, you don't see shit from him. You don't see shit from him. And then we had Abdul Carter, who's going to have to temper those expectations because he ain't Micah Parsons yet. Okay, and he needs more seasoning. What I don't understand is that how you let this team run all over you. They don't even have a feature back, Mac. They don't have a feature back. They got their feature back and sent him over to the 49ers. They have 3 guys that they give the ball to. Austin Eckler, who, by the way, how the hell are you letting him run you over, Michael McFadden? I'm sorry that you're injured, but my God, you are a linebacker, and Austin Eckler, who looks big, but if you look at him, he's really kind of a finesse guy, ran you the fuck over, right? Where was Bobby Okereke? Where was anybody? There was nobody on this defense. And for the Commanders, they're going to be good. They're going to be in the playoff hunt. If they can shore up some things and get their offense to get behind the line, they're going to be able to score with anybody. And then their defense doesn't have to worry too much about, stopping the run because they're going to be so far ahead. I can't wait to find out how they play against a good team this week, because against the Giants, they are so good that they didn't even need to play their best game. When they needed a touchdown, they went right down the field and scored a touchdown. They have weapons with the tight end. Debo Samuels, I think, is going to play big dividends for them because they don't have anybody like that. When's the last time they've had a second receiver next to Terry McLaurin, which, by the way, is going to help him? Did you see him run one-on-one by the Giants secondary? That's because they have Debo Samuels and Zach Ertz on the field. When you have more guys like that, you're going to free him up. So I thought Cliff Kingsbury called a phenomenal game. He understands his strengths. He understands his fucking personnel. Unlike our team. And on defense, they're going to – go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish up.
I thought you were done.
No.
I was just going to say about this, like, as far as the Debo Samuel thing, I'm curious how he was going to look in this offense, how he fit in with it. It looks like a match made in heaven. I mean, it looked seamless. He led the way with the Commanders on Sunday. 7 catches, 77 yards. Had to run for 19 yards and touchdown. He fit in seamlessly with this offense. As you said, it's going to only pay dividends in the future. And as far as any offseason matter about, is there going to be a sophomore slump for one Mr. Jaden Daniels? Doesn't look like it.
No.
Looks that kid is absolutely the real fucking deal.
He looks better.
Let's already get that out of our mind. Get out of our mind. So we're going to with Jaden Daniels. So even more reason why now I'm more hyped getting Jackson Dart out there. Let's see if we can get that kind of spark for it. We need it. We definitely need it. As far as how I feel about the Washington Commanders defense, I still feel the same way I did, honestly, because to me, the New York Giants, that just doesn't prove much to me. Stopping the New York Giant offense doesn't prove enough to me. I'm sorry. So I still honestly feel the same way I felt about the Washington Commanders defense, even though they had a pretty great game against a really pathetic offense in the New York Football Giants. But that's really about all I got, man. Unless you got something more on this, Adam, we can get ready to move on and start previewing some of next week's matchups. Okay.
Sorry. Had to get some water. All this venting.
Well, you got anything else about this?
The Commanders, I will say.
That you want to talk about with this?
I'm interested to see how their offense looks with, Cliff Kingsbury and how they are going to adjust, because obviously they played a lesser opponent and now it gets hard. But, Jaden Daniels, I want to just touch on this last point. I didn't think he could get better. I felt he was better in this game, even though the stats don't bear it out passing-wise, per se, right? I just thought his command of everything, he just never looked rattled. He never looked, even when Brian Burns was coming at him, he held the ball. He knew he was getting sacked. He's like, I'm just going to take this sack here, and that's going to elevate them. And, of course, obviously his running element. But that's all I have to say about that.
Let me hit this comment real quick with bookends, man. He said the Giants were much better at tackling under Joe Judge. This team sucks at tackling right now. Well, one of the only things that Joe Judge to me did right was that he had those fuckers hitting in practice. You know what I mean? So he did do live tackling drills in practice during his training camps. That's about the one thing that Joe Judge did that I had never had a problem with, and that probably has a lot to do with that. Like I said, to me, this is a league-wide problem. I think it's sloppy tackling all around the league, honestly. I don't just single the Giants out. I think that's just a league thing.
How about this? The other team was more physical. I felt the Giants were a little soft, not going to lie. That's what I felt. I don't know if the Commanders do anything differently in their practices, but I felt when the game was out there that let me ask you this before we move on. When you're sitting there watching the Giant defense, did you think that, they're going to rise up and do something throughout the game? Because I did not. I just felt like we just kept getting pushed back and pushed back. I never thought a dominant performance was coming, right? Like, I don't know about you, but did you?
I mean, I was waiting for something to happen. I just never did. I was waiting for somebody to make a game-changing play, create a turnover, something, and it just never happened. Like I said, all we did was the same old, even late at the end of the game, we knew that they weren't going to do anything but turn around and hand the ball off to their running backs. We still couldn't stop them. And you knew that's what they were going to be doing. So
there's no adjustment either.
With this team, man. Look, I'm over. I'm done. I'm already I'm not. I'm checked out from the season already, obviously. But at the end of the day, look, until this team shows me something real, I can't take it seriously at all until they prove it to me on the field and continue to not do that. So we'll stay here in Washington, man. They got a big game this week, taking on the Packers on tomorrow night, as a matter of fact. So talk about it. Did you see how you see that game playing out, Adam?
It's interesting because I didn't think the Packers were going to be this good, like this impressive coming out. They walloped the Lions. Like, I get it was a Green Bay, but they made the Lions their bitch. They bent them over their fucking knee and went off. And so for me, I'm wondering, okay, is this Green Bay team legit? Are they really going to challenge for the NFC? And then I look at the Washington, I'm like, they weren't as crisp, but this is a bigger game, which they were preparing for during the Giant game. That's how much respect they had for us, that they didn't give a shit about the Giants. They were already practicing for Green Bay. right? And I want to see how this Green Bay defense does with a mobile quarterback, because Jared Goff is very stationary. It's easy to get after him. He's not that elusive, right? He's not going to run for a first down, as you saw when Micah Parsons tackled him, right? So I'd like to see how they deal with the mobility of Jaden Daniels. This will also be a good test to see if Jaden Daniels, who we're talking about now, has elevated his game, because the Packer defense is by far playing better than the Giant defense. The Giant defense, for what we could say, is could have talent, right? Whatever, right? I'm not going to take the talent away, but this Packer defense held the Lions, one of the highest scoring teams, to 10 points, something like that. So it was a real domination. So I want to see how their offensive line holds up. This is why you got Larry Tunsil, right, to block guys like Parsons in that defensive line. So we'll see. And that's why you got Deebo Samuel against their corners. I expect Washington offense to move the football. What I don't know is how their defense is going to play, because that Packer offense, Jordan Love looked spectacular on Sunday. And you can see what a good receiver does for a quarterback, right? In Golden, it opens up everything else underneath with Romeo Doubs. They have Josh Jacobs. Their offensive line is playing phenomenal. Their coach is also an offensive genius, right? So I want to see how they do against this Commander defense, because I don't think the Commanders are going to have the same success being in the backfield like they were with the Giants, because I just think the Packers, one, know how to run their own fucking scheme, and two, have a better back than what the Giants present. Everyone wants to talk about Tyrone Tracy, but Josh Jacobs is far better than anything we have on the Giant roster. So it's going to be a test on how their defense goes, because against the Giants had no adjustment. They didn't do anything. They were held. This is how bad the Giants were. The Giants were so bad, you don't even know how good or bad the Commanders' defense is, because the Commanders didn't have to do much. In this game, they're going to have to do a lot more. You're probably going to see a lot more 8-man fronts, a lot of blitzing, probably some corner blitzes off the side. They're going to have to stop this run game.
Yeah, this is going to be a big test for Command to see where they really how they stack up. Unfortunately, it's a little bit unknown based off of against the New York Giants, the lowly New York Giants. So they really get a full gauge. Like I said, I feel the same about the defense that I did a couple of weeks ago. I still not really sold on it, even though they stopped the New York Giants. But the Packers is a completely different animal. Like you said, Jordan Love, this could be that year he takes that next step, man. You know what I mean? Where like he's been good the last few years, but at the end of the day, now this guy where he takes that next step into like really like maybe even that top conversation possibly. You know what I mean? He could seriously take a step like that, and this is another. So this will be a big test for him as well. But Aiden Daniels, this is once again him an opportunity to prove how elite he actually is and where he stands among top quarterbacks in this league, because I think this is going to be an opportunity on Thursday night in Green Bay, man, Titletown, man, on the road in a hostile environment. He's going to get an opportunity to show what he's really made of, and I believe he will be able to get it done, man. I think they're obviously just running back by committee the whole season. That's what their philosophy is going to be as far as the running goes for the whole season. Austin Eckler might be technically the lead back, but they're going to be throwing them all the young guys out there. The cross Merrick kid and the what the is. You'll be getting a big dose of those guys, and like I said, I'd like to see more Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel. Like I said, I'm excited. I think this offense can play with anybody. This Washington offense will be able. They're going to be able, that's not going to be an issue. Like I said, I'm curious really what they're going to be able to do defensively against this Green Bay Packer offense, because like you said, the addition of Matthew Gold that's made a big difference. That you can already see the dividends of paying Green Bay Packer offense, and Michael Parsons, for what it's worth, that trade off. This could ultimately turn out to be a win for both of these teams, Cowboys and Green Bay Packers. I mean, Parsons came in and served himself well in game one. Already got his first second to see first back as a Packer already in the books. I mean, so I don't know. This could be game of the week type shit, even though it's happening Thursday night. I don't know how you see this one playing out, but I think Green Bay gets them though, man. I think Green Bay's offense is going to be a little too much for Washington's defense to handle, and I think ultimately Green Bay ends up taking this one. I was very impressed with Green Bay one.
I don't want to be the same, but I agree with everything you're saying. But I'm going to go with the upset here because the Commanders need to win games like this. They don't need to beat the Giants. That's not what we paid all this money for. That's not what we are hoping to get at. The Giants are the bottom feeder of the NFL. This is an upper echelon team. And this is a team that went, to the divisional round with you. They advanced a little less, obviously, because, they didn't get to the championship game. You did, right? So this is going to be a test on the road, like you said, in a hostile environment for a team that we want to believe is a contender, right? If Washington comes out and steals a victory from Green Bay, they're going to start to rewrite the narrative on their season because everyone is expecting them probably to lose after that performance against Green Bay and after the sloppy start with the Giants. But I'm going to go on a limb and, again, make this show kind of fun. I'm going to pick Washington. And I'm going to pick Washington because of one of the reasons that you said. Jaden Daniels. He is a huge X factor. Unlike Jordan Love, who doesn't run with the same pop that Jaden Daniels does. I'm not going to say he doesn't run because, he's going to have a big gainer and you're going to come back on the show and be like, Adam, you told me he didn't run. He got a 30-yard run. No, he's not. Jordan Love's more of a passer who has mobility, they don't run the same RPOs with him because they're not stupid. Why? Because they don't want their quarterback who is constantly injured to get injured. But I think Jaden Daniels is that good. And I think someone said he's going to be Lamar Jackson. I think he's far better than Lamar coming out in terms of a passer. And I think his just overall mind and command of the thing is going to be calm. And I think the Packers, they're going to bring pressure, but I just feel like you're bringing in Debo, you're bringing in Terry. This is why you brought him in, to show you why they should be representing. Because right now, a lot of people have the Eagles and the Packers as the last two fighting for the NFC crown for the ticket to the Super Bowl, right? With some people having the Packers, some people having the Eagles. Well, Washington on Thursday can start to stir that pot a little bit if they win.
Well, all right. Let's talk about Super Bowl rematch on Sunday. Super Bowl rematch on Sunday. Philadelphia Eagles going out to KC taking on them Chiefs, man. What you think about this matchup?
This is interesting for me. I'm torn because while I like Mahomes, I don't know what team we're going to get because they looked bad, against LA. Now LA is a decent team, but again, they were the Kansas City mystique. You walk in with the mystique of Kansas City. So I think it'll be a good game, but I think the Eagles are going to come in and steal another victory in Arrowhead. I could see the Chiefs putting up a fight because they want revenge, and I think they need this game more than the Eagles. Eagles lose this game, it's going to be a blip on the radar, right? They're going to win another. They're going to go on another win streak. But I think Kansas City needs this game to regain some dominance in their confidence. Now, while I say that, they did have a rough start at one of their Super Bowl runs where they kind of lost a few games, and then all of a sudden they righted the ship, and next thing you know, they were in the Super Bowl. So this is why I was hoping the Giants would look good, because you catch Kansas City early, right? You can tend to knock them off. And I think the Eagles are going to be raring to go. I know Kansas City is going to be locked in, but I have a feeling that Kansas City drops to 0-2 in the first time in the Andy Reid era, I think. That could be, or at least in a decade.
Well, look, I don't know. I think Kansas City will be fired up for this one for obvious reasons. You know what I mean? He got absolutely embarrassed in the Super Bowl back in February by the same Philadelphia Eagles team. Now, on paper, toe-to-toe, tail of the tape, they do not stack up. I mean, just don't stack to the Eagles. Even with the great Patrick Mahomes, who can do amazing things, I think part of the issue with Kansas City is in this couple of years, they just seem to not
No.
have the weapons that they used to have. The ones that they have, well, the Travis Kelce, for instance, I mean, they're just getting aging, they're getting old. I mean, as far as the wide receiver, he really never shies back, man. Unfortunately, he's dealing with that suspension right now. When they don't have him, I mean, he got off to a start last season that was looking like he was getting ready to be a top, one of the top receivers in the league, and before he got the injury last season. And so it's just like that's what some of their struggles are. It's just as great as Patrick Mahomes is, man. You can only work with what you got to work with. He's not working with that much, to be honest. I mean, Xavier Worthy can make big plays here and there, but he's not really that consistent you can always rely on. He's good for a big play here and there. So it's just like Travis Kelce, he's still good, but he's not the same guy he once was. So I just think that's some of their struggles come from, man. As far as the Eagles go, I mean, the Eagles didn't play necessarily the greatest game on Thursday against the Cowboys. We didn't see the best version of the Eagles. Put it that way. What we saw today, I don't want to say they didn't play a good game because they did still play a pretty damn good game. But I'm not sure Kansas City, man, for this one. This is one of those ones where I feel, even though whatever I just said, I don't think they stack up to the Eagles necessarily. I think they're going to come out here on their home opener and just with that chip on their shoulder and remember that bad taste they got in their mouth from what this team did to them back in February. I mean, he got embarrassed on the absolute biggest stage. It was over at halftime. Let's face it, halftime, we knew that game was over. It was in the books. You know what I mean? It was just going to the third or fourth quarter was just from out at that point. I feel like you're gonna get a very good versus Kansas City on Sunday. They're gonna come out, and I think they're gonna take care of their business, man, and possibly knock the Eagles off, man. So I'm going with the upset.
Wow. Okay. All right. I mean, look, I can't disagree. I mean, so I think you might be right. Football's a funny game.
Yeah, so like I said, we'll see. Let's got one more game on the docket we can talk about, man, and we can dig into this one. Obviously, we will. The Big Blue on Sunday, man, on the road, in the division once again. Trying to avoid starting 0-2 in the division. Take on down Cowboys, Adam, man. What you got, man?
Well, I wish the Cowboys had won because the way they lost and how they lost and the way that they're feeling, I don't want to be the Giants. I don't want to walk into their building with them being angry and mad that they went toe-to-toe with the best team in the conference. And that's proven, right? We could say whatever about Green Bay. They're the champs until told otherwise. And they hung with them. And they look at the Giants who are in disarray, a wounded animal, a team that's got quarterback controversy left and right. I think the Cowboys are ready to stop mudholing our ass. And I'm sorry to say that, but they just feel like they have a different about them that they know that one, they don't want to go 0-2 in the division, which neither team does. Neither team wants to go 0-2 in the division. But in order for them to be believers, I just believe that the Cowboys are going to look at the Giants as an opponent that is on their level and they have a chance to win. And I think that we're going to see how good this Giant team really is because this game favors them, right? Favors that vaunted pass rush we talked about. Which, by the way, the Cowboys didn't give up a sack last week. Just saying. So if the Cowboys can establish a run game and we can't get off the field, it's going to be a long. I just expect them to beat us. After the effort I saw on Sunday against, like if the Giants had lost 21-14 on a fluke play or some shit, I'd be like, you know what, Cowboys, here we come. But we're rolling into that team after giving up 200 yards of offense. How can I be confident that this team is going to come in and play hard? And to me, look, I just think the Cowboys.
We're still looking for our first touchdown.
I mean, think about this. The Cowboys the Cowboys, first off, have never lost to us in the Dak Prescott era, okay? Which is insane to think about. Second off,
Well, Dak Prescott's never lost. They've lost in the Prescott era, just not Dak Prescott.
Right.
Not when Dak Scott's playing.
When he starts. Let me rephrase that. Second off, this is their home opener. So I expect them to come out with a little more juice in this game. I expect them the crowd to be a little raucous because the media is also talking about the Cowboys the same way we are. Like, oh, we're impressed by that. Oh, we're impressed by that. And oh, by the way, Kenny Clark and Odigi Azua are probably licking their chops saying, man, we're going to feast because we went up against the best offensive line in football and held that team to 60 yards rushing, right? Of course, they had to bring pressure and things like that. But now they're going up against this offensive line who can't block a wet paper bag. So when you are a football team, a lot of it is mental. And a lot of it is just belief when you walk in. And this Cowboy team believes that they're going to beat us. This Cowboy team knows they can beat us. This Cowboy team knows that if they play the game they played on Thursday, they're walking away with a victory. They know it. They don't have to. They can play as good as they played on Thursday, and maybe they have one less drop because CeeDee Lamb is not going. CeeDee Lamb is going to want to make a fool out of us. He's been practicing all week. The ball comes his way and he's open. He's going to do it. And if they block for Dak Prescott the way that they blocked the Eagles, it's going to be a long day, man. I'm sorry. It's going to be a long day.
No Mets. No also out last week. Well, he spent most of his day fine Jaden Daniels. That's how he was used most of the day. It seemed like. So I don't know. I don't know what we're going to say. I don't know what this fucking thing. What I do know is I know I can't literally take them seriously. From what I saw from the Cowboys and what I saw from both these teams are coming in this game 0-1 looking for their first victory. But one team's 0-1 ain't the same as the other 0-1. I'll tell you that right now. For sure. And the team, from what I saw on Sunday against the Commanders, just doesn't. They don't stack up to the Cowboys. They're not. I don't see where they have a chance. And I can't with a straight face. I hear you, Mosey. I want to be optimistic like you are, and I want to be able to believe that, but I can't believe it. I just can't. Not what I saw. I'm not even going to set myself up to think it's going to happen. I'm not even going to do it because this team give me a reason to do that, man. I can't with this New York Giants team. I came in on Sunday fired up from waiting for this game, and I was anticipating it. I was ready to go. You know what I mean? Thinking that we was gonna come out there and at least look like a competent football team, and we look just as incompetent as we looked last season all year long. We looked exactly the same way. Once again, we have a superstar on offense. They're just wasting him away.
Right. And
can't figure it out. Like I said, our running backs are, they're average guys. You don't have any studs there. Not proven right now, at least. And then we got an offensive line that, like I said, absolutely a trouble. I wouldn't necessarily. There just wasn't no holes getting opened up for any of those motherfuckers on Sunday at all. I'm not knocking Tyrone Tracy.
Let me break down for Cam Scottenheimer, and it has nothing to do really with Tracy's performance. It's more that Scottenheimer's a natural runner, right? He's been doing it for so long on a big stage, while as Tracy is not. So Tracy doesn't always have the instinctual nature to move here and move there. He also is not a great blocker on third down. You saw what Scottenheimer did. And I think for me, I just want to see a guy who is a little bit more north and south, downhill tone setter, right? Than a guy who Tracy's good. But I just think Scottenheimer is a better player overall, and I think you want Jackson Dart to start? I need Scottenheimer as well. I need difference, man. I need guys who are going to have energy and power. And Scottenheimer comes in, and they already made plays when he was in the game with a block and a couple of his catches out of the backfield. So I want to see more of him, right? The Giants need to do a screen game.
Well, I wouldn't mind seeing more of him, but I'm not soured on Tyrone Tracy So I'm not sour on time trading anyway. This thing, I think he has big playability. He has more big playability than Scottaboo from that standpoint. But I feel what you're saying. Scottaboo is a kind of guy that, to me, one thing I like about Scottaboo is he's not a guy you expect to see losing yards much. Even if it's 1 or 2 yards, he's going to get positive yards in a sense. You know, he's going to be churning forward. You know what I mean? So I like that about Scott, and I do it at that block with that blitz. That was impressive. Rookie first game, that was some impressive stuff. I cannot knock that either, man. But I'm not necessarily feel like none of our running backs are going to be that much success if this offensive line can actually do something. Can show me anything. And they can block anybody. They can move anybody out of the way. I just don't think it's not a matter. So with Saquon Barkley, his struggles and this big piece of shit offensive line. So I mean, he's a superstar. So I just feel like our running backs, no matter who it is, are going to have struggles behind this line, regardless. I mean, regardless of who it is, to be quite frank. But yeah, this and Mets. I see. I didn't. Okay, I wasn't even thinking about that. She was talking about Jalen Carter. It doesn't make sense about the Eagles not getting any sacks. That Jalen Carter's loss to Jalen Carter can impact on that for real because they can, focus a little more with the other Eagles runners, take them out of the game as opposed to putting so much emphasis on Jalen Carter. But yeah, back to this game. Man. This is, like I said, I can't take this Giant team seriously. Like I said, I want to believe in it just like you, man, but I just can't no more. I'm not going to say set my up for that. This New York Giant team is one of their bottom feeders. I feel like I'm trying to think of any other team I was less impressed with on Sunday than the Giants. I'm having a hard time thinking of what team that might have been. I mean, the Dolphins were pretty shitty, obviously. Tennessee didn't look great by no means. But everybody's been talking about pointing at that New Orleans game, talking about, oh yeah, that's the game. Giants are going to win that game week 5. I don't know. Saints look a lot better. Look a little better to me. Look a little better than us Sunday. I mean, they looked a little better.
5 sacks.
They looked like they were worse than us. They looked a little better. So I'm just saying, people, everybody just talking that shit. Yeah, about we'll get the Saints week 5. No. Maybe I'm not so convinced now about that one either. But yeah, so I think what happened in this football game is a little bit of what we saw happen on Sunday, man. We're going to see Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders run the ball right in the New York Giants' throat. Miles Sanders probably got this probably loves playing. I'm sure he remembers. He still remembers some of his days against the New York Giants when he played for the Eagles. You know what I mean? He know he can get here. He can get himself some against the New York Giant defense. Javonte Williams, the physical runner that he is. I mean, these guys. I expect to see another 200-yard effort from the opposing running backs, man, in this game. Based off of what I saw on Monday, that's what I expect to see happen again, unless something's drastically going to change. And I just don't. I don't know. I just can't imagine it is. So I don't know if you got any more thoughts, Adam? Any more on this game? What you expect to see? But I got the Dallas Cowboys one, guy, and I think it's going to be a laugher.
I kind of agree with you on the laugher part because this is a make or break game for Dable. Okay, if that offense comes out and is absolute dog shit, and even if we score a fluky touchdown, maybe a fumble return, or we score a touchdown and it's 14-7, or it's 21-7, or 17-7, and we go into halftime and the offense looks sluggish. Even though we're close, I want to see Dart. If the offense is coming out and still getting 3 and outs, punting, giving up sacks, let me see the kid at halftime. Okay? Give something, because what's not going to be able to happen is if you get run out the building. If you get run out the fucking building in the Cowboy game. Remember, a lot of us thought a lot of people think the Giants should have beat the Cowboys. Well, guess what? The Cowboys think that they could beat the Giants, right? They think that they got snubbed last week. They think they should be fighting for 2-0 right now instead of 1-1. That's what they believe. And damn right, damn Skippy, if you think that they don't know that. And I'm worried because of what I saw out of Kenny Clark and Odighizuwa and Nealand and that defensive front and what they did in the second half of that game to an offensive line that is 10 times better than what the Giants are going to put out there. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous about that defense. I know they don't have Parsons or anything like that, but the Commanders don't have Parsons, and they dominated. They straight dominated us for 4 quarters. Sure. Dominate. You can't tell me that wasn't a domination. That was a domination of a defense if I've ever seen one. And I'm worried because I believe the Cowboy defense, talent-wise, is better than the Commander defense. Who has the Commanders have Xavier, they have Diggs, they have Bland, right? They have a couple good linebackers in Murray, right? They have Kenny Clark, who's a decent tackle with a Odighizuwa. They have Sam Williams and the kid number 41, who's in the backfield all week. Plus, they have Eberflus, a defensive coordinator, an actual defensive coordinator in the modern times, unlike Mike Zimmer, who seemed to think that he was on the 93 Cowboys. You don't have Ken Norton Jr. anymore or Charles Haley, my friend. You need to change it up. Eberflus did. And you know why? This is what coaching is. If you look at the first half of that game against the Eagles, the Cowboys defense was getting shredded. Second half of that game, they went in, made adjustments, started bringing pressure, and the whole game changed. Okay? That's what coaching is. What did we do? Did the Giants adjust on offense? Did they do anything to help their offensive line? Did they run screenplays? Did they do anything to help get in rhythm? No. And I understand that the offensive line, but the Cowboys are going to look at that and say, why can't we take advantage of this? And Darius Slayton, you're not going up against, Trey Amos. You're going up against Xavier. You're going up against Diggs, and you're going up against Deron Bland. Both capable cornerbacks. Both guys who kept A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith in check last week. It wasn't until they got on Elam where they did anything. The 2 starting corners were good. So now we're going to trot out here with Malik Neighbors, who hasn't practiced and has got a bad back and is angry. Jalen Hyatt, who looks like he's on a milk box. Wan'Dale Robinson, who gets 5 catches and then stops. It's like once he meets his quota, that's it. It's like when you play a video game and you get your life all the way up to a certain point. Even though you get another heart in the game, your life doesn't keep going up; it just stops. That's Wan'Dale Robinson. He gets like 6 catches. That's it. I'm done. End of me, right? And so for me, I'm looking at this game overall. They're better offensively than we are, and our defense couldn't get regular sacks in this game. And while Dak is not the runner that Jaden Daniels is, he may not have to be in this game. He may only have to run for a first down or keep the chains moving. Plus, they said it, Aubrey can kick the ball from a mile away. So when you have that, you really have an advantage if you're Brian Schottenheimer, because people have to account for that. We can't give you the ball on the 30-yard line anymore because you go 2 plays and all of a sudden you're at the 50-yard line and you got a guy who can kick the ball from the moon. So nothing favors the Giants in this game, and it's hard after a performance like this. And the reason why I'm so disappointed is because it's not just they lost the Giants. It's they got dominated. They didn't belong to be on the field with a team that they're supposed to rise up with. And a team that's on their level, the Cowboys, played a game that we thought was going to be the opposite. We thought the domination was going to happen in Philly and the close game was going to happen in Washington. The reverse happened. And now I'm supposed to believe, as a Giant fan, and put Giant gear on, that this team is going to go into Big D, a team that lost in heartbreaking fashion, that is hungry for a victory, then all of a sudden I'm going to believe that the Giants are going to turn their problems around in one week. Newsflash, Andrew Thomas ain't playing this game, okay? He ain't. I can tell you that for a fact. Because he wasn't even on the padded practice today. You think that they're gonna throw him out there without even taking hits? So he ain't gonna play. Your offensive line was atrocious last week, and Van Routen looks like he should be on the bench. But you don't have the faith to put in Neal. I want to see a different offensive strategy in this game.
Neal didn't even get a uniform on Sunday. So, the fact that I'm my mind is still blown. We all feel the way we want to feel about the guy. To the point now where he's not even getting a uniform, he's a healthy scratch. That's how we feel. I mean, look, the guy has been good. That's just facts. I mean, that is facts. He should not be a healthy scratch with the state of this offensive line. He should not be a healthy scratch. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that.
Get this, man. So, a fifth round pick is starting over a first overall pick, like a fifth overall pick, right? Or seventh, whatever Neil was. Membo gets a jersey, but you're not giving one to Neil? How about maybe you do? Because on the goal line, maybe he would have blown somebody up. How about that?
It's the one thing he does do pretty well. He's a pretty solid run blocker. You can't really rely on pass game, but in pass blocking, he's terrible inside and guard is he's as bad in there at guard as he was at tackle pass blocking. But he can move motherfuckers out the way.
How bad you have to be?
But he can move people.
The weakest unit on the team. Oh, that's bad.
AT after the bye would be ridiculous because our bye is late, so he better be in. But it doesn't look like he's gonna be playing this week for sure. What we got? Look, at this point, I just say I'm with it. Just throw him in the game. I didn't know Bland was out for this game either, but thank you for that, Buko. Good to see you too, man. It's been a long time, brother. Hope everything is going good with you, man. Me, AP gonna get games fired quick. Gonna get GMs fired quick, man. What do you mean you can't build a O-line in 2 years? In 2 years. Oh my God. It's been so long. If you're new to the channel, Meeks, go ahead and make sure you sub up and subscribe, man. And we do this every Wednesday, me and Adam, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, bro. I really appreciate it, man. Help support the channel, man. Says why I at this point, if you're not going to play them and not do anything with them, you might as well. Might see if you can get something for them. If you're not going to use them, that shit to me is weird on Sunday. Once again, when the game going away, it was gone. And you're not even tapping into all your resources that you have. You're still just kind of like, I mean, I don't think he played on Sunday either. I didn't see his ass out there on the field that I can remember. So to me, it's just a lot of weird shit with this coaching staff. What's going on behind the scenes, whatever else, and I don't get it. This Hyatt thing is really like crazy to me because for all of that, you might as well have gave him the Evan Neal treatment and not gave him a fucking uniform. You're not going to use him at all. What's the point? You know, just out there sideline looking at the game. Shit, that's just ridiculous to me, man. I mean, I don't know. Bookend says it's not like Russ is that much better than Dart. If he is right now, he's not the future. Limits you over the middle in the seam of the field. That is true. Russell Wilson is definitely not looking up that seam much. Middle of the field is basically non-existent in Russell Wilson's eyes. You're right. It's a lot. It is a lot. And like I said, maybe I was absolutely wrong. Maybe I'm wrong that Russell Wilson's skill diminished more than I realized. I take it on the chin. I admit when I'm wrong. But I am ready to, at this point, just throw Dart out there and see what we got. Because now I watched all these young quarterbacks. Look at J.J. McCarthy. This is practically his rookie year. I mean, no, last year, technically, he was a rookie. He didn't play all season because he was out. He was injured all year. This is practically his rookie season. Look what he went out there and did tonight. Engineering a comeback out there from Minnesota, man. Looking good while doing it, too. That, like I said about that quarterback class from last season, that we should take advantage of that last year when we had an opportunity to last year. As far as I'm concerned, I still stand on that. But like I said, we got a young guy in here that showed us a little something this preseason. Showed some juice, like you like to say. I got some juice. He's got some stuff in. And maybe he does different energy. And maybe we could be better off if we just go ahead and put him out there and see what we got, man.
I mean, Hyatt needs to be traded if you're not going to use him. I'm sorry. He just does. Like, get rid of the guys. If you're not going to play them, get rid of them. Like, it makes no sense to me that you draft a guy in the third round and you can't get in the field on this guy. I mean, I don't know. The Giants have done this. They've done it with Kadarius Toney. They've done it with Jalen Hyatt. These guys are either bad, and means you're bad at scouting and you didn't listen to the scouting report, and you listen to your receiver coach who's like, yeah, I can fix him. Because there's no way that this guy can't – you tell me he can't run a 9 route and you throw him the ball? He can't run a post route? Like, what are we talking about here? It's elementary shit. If you look at what BrianSchottenheimer is doing, they motion guys to get them open. Maybe, just maybe, you do that. I mean, how many times have you seen Wanda hide on a screen? Like a smoke route, a smoke screen, right? We're putting in Wandale Robinson, who does shit. The guy, I'm sorry, people, you love Wandale. I get it. He's a fan favorite, I guess. But the kid does nothing. Nobody's scared of Wandale Robinson. They're looking at Wandale Robinson like, why do you have this Smurf on the field? So for me, the Giants, this is the big game for the Giants. I don't care what anybody says. I know DeRon Bland might be out for a few weeks. And this is a big game for the Giants. If you can't go into Big D with a banged-up Cowboy team, right, because they have a couple guys that are injured, and Russell Wilson can't cook this team up, Brian Daboll, you're fired. That's it. I'm done. I don't have time because you don't have enough cojones to put in the kid. We all saw it. I saw it. I said, why not play him? And you brought up a great point. You're like, well, Russell Wilson outplayed Matt Flynn. Well, that's what Dart did. He did in the preseason. There's a difference why the game was elevated even against second teamers when he came in the game. They changed the entire offense. They were doing fake rollouts and all this stuff. When Russ came in the game, they did drop back passing. And that's not the name of the game, especially if you don't have an interior line that can block. If you don't have a run blocking line, Russell Wilson is useless to you because his identity and wherever he's been, he needs a run game so he can do that play action move. With Jackson Dart, you don't have to do that. He does many different things, right? He's more versatile. The offense is more opened up when he's in the game because you can run with him. He can pass. He can move and roll out. Russ is so old, they don't do anything with him. And sure, he got 44 yards rushing, but he just looks old, and he fumbled again, right? And I get it. And you know what the worst part is I heard him after the game. And they were like, oh, what do you think about the game? And he's like, oh, we did our best and, we did this. And it sounded like a damn cheerleader. I'm like, where's the accountability? Where is the man? We fucking suck. I need to do better. It was ho-hum like, hey, man, everything's good. Like, we're good. Hey, yeah, man, we're good, man. Hey, like at some point, we don't want to hear positivity. I need to hear you see Jackson Dart, that kid's fucking emotional. He comes on the thing, he's like, we stunk. I stunk. I lost the game. Russell Wilson's coming up there. Hey, guys, it's me, Russell, Mr. Unlimited. We were unlimitedly good this week. No. I need to see emotion. I need to see fire. If you are down by halftime, Jackson Dart needs to be in the game.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. At this point, I'm not thinking that no more. I'm not at this point. Let's just put the kid in and see if we can spark some of the other teams have gotten with their young quarterbacks, man, because this offense needs something. And I just don't know anymore. I'm confused. I'm at a loss of words when I think about this New York Giant team. Because like I said, we keep focusing on all, but this defense got an awful lot of hype this off season as well, and they also live up to it, man.
Get this stat. Stat. I just read a stat. The run defense for the Cowboys. Okay, Dallas allowed 1.8 yards per carry in the second half of the game, right? And it averaged, because of overall game, 4.2 yards the entire game. However, with the addition of Kenny Clark was in the game, the Dallas Cowboys allowed 2.8 yards a carry, while that number jumped to 6.6 without Clark on the interior. Okay, so if you can't run the football with that Eagle team, and that's what they did with that Eagle team, I'm telling you right now, you ain't gonna run the damn football with the Giants come Sunday. We told you.
Yeah, so
the preseason means diddly squat. The Commanders look like shit. The Commanders look like absolute dog shit in the preseason. And we were saying, oh, the Giants are going to catch up and beat them. And they came out and they stomped us out.
This is like I said,
that's
I don't know where we're going rest of this season, but I don't know. I'm just hoping we get something better than what we got last year. I'm hoping for something better. I'm just not
Yeah.
sure because what I saw like a Sunday just once again, just ridiculous New York football, and it was embarrassing.
Oh, that's funny.
One of the preseason. What's going on, Dave fans, man? I appreciate you, Bob, man.
My last point is the reason why Dart needs to start is Dable needs to save his job. Case point blank and period. You're not saving your job with Russell Wilson. And you may not save your job with Jackson Dart, but it does two things for the Giants. One, it gets to see if Jackson Dart is actually the guy, right? We'll know if he may not win a lot of games, but we'll know if he's the guy. So that next year, if we don't need a quarterback because we know that Jackson Dart, who played all season, is the guy, now I can trade up and down. Whereas if I don't know he played, I don't, and a new regime comes in, who knows, right? Because if they play like this, there will be a new regime in here. I will tell them to take Joe Shane and take his ass and get out of here too. Because his team is not being fleshed out. We can't exonerate him of this. Sure, the coaches stink. And sure, Dayball is ass. But Joe Shane can't build a roster to save his life. Okay? And if this team
damn sure can't build an O-line.
And if this team cannot figure out after a certain amount of games if Jackson Dart is not the guy, well, the next regime should have the autonomy to pick the guy if they want. If they go down there and they're like, well, we like Nussmeier, fuck Jackson Dart. We saw him play last year. We don't like him. I want fair assessments. We know we're not going to the playoffs. Put the kid in. I want to hear on my phone tonight go bing, 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 bing. Brian Daboll starting Jackson Dart week 2 in Dallas. That's what I want to hear. I guarantee he gives you a better shot to win. Yeah. I'll put money on it. He gives you a better shot to win.
So yeah, at this point, I'm just agreeing with that. At this point, I think at this stage, Russ is in his career. This ain't the place for him, man. Behind this offensive line, it's not gonna work with Russ Wilson, man. That was proven on Sunday. He looked like a deer caught in the headlights on Sunday. It was just ridiculous. He was just running for his life, and the fact that he ended up being our leading rusher tells you everything. Because none of those were designed runs. It was just him running for his damn life. So,
I'm sorry. That was funny.
I'm just saying they wasn't. Jaden Daniels or just getting calls for some design run plays. It was just running for his life. I mean, just the fact it is what it is.
I'm laughing because so matter of factly, you're right. It's just like it wasn't like, hey, we were running him on an RPO. He was running for his life. It had to be the leading rusher. Oh my god. Oh, that's bad.
So for anybody that didn't know, I'm sure you do all know Michael McFadden's going to be out for extended time, getting surgery on his foot. So those what his status is going to be the rest of the season. They haven't officially put him on IR or anything like that yet, but pretty sure that's coming. Andrew Thomas, I would not expect to see trotting out on the field this Sunday once again. So we can already get that out of our mind as well. Let's get ready for another long year, Giant fans. Let's buckle up, man. But we're going to still keep bringing it to y'all each and every Wednesday as long as there is an NFC team playing all the way to the end, to the last NFC team to stand. And we'll see me and Adam each and every Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You got any final thoughts, Adam? Before we get up out of here?
I don't have any final thoughts. The Giants suck ass. Dable needs to be fired. Those are my final thoughts.
Like, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing at all. He seems to have a clue what he's doing, man, to be honest. Take his boy Joe Shane with as far as I'm concerned, because I don't care if you have maybe a couple of good drafts the last couple of years. Just still obviously not fully proven yet. But yeah, can't build this team. You clearly don't have to build this team. Definitely can't build an offensive line to save your life. There's not one offensive lineman you brought in there, Joe Shane, made any kind of a positive impact Illuminor is not terrible. He's all not great.
They're all free agents.
He's also not. So let's just whatever. But you guys, if you enjoyed this stream, make sure y'all go my channel, like, subscribe, and ring that bell, man, so you know when I'm dropping content. Go to Adam's channel, hit the like, subscribe on Adam's channel as well. Just keep helping us build our channels up. And I'm going to do that, man. I just appreciate y'all coming through, supporting all you guys. Jay Ferris, Mosley, No Mess, No Nest, No Jet Booking. You guys have been great in the chat, man. We appreciate y'all, man. As always, go to the Hardcore Sports Network also and go hit the subscribe for the Hardcore Sports Network too. We appreciate y'all tuning in, and we'll be back to see y'all next Wednesday talking about Week 2's action and getting y'all ready for Week 3, man. It's your boy Mac the Giants fan, super dope co-host Adam Cox. Peace. I'd like to thank you all for listening. If you was feeling this, please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Mac the Giants fan. That's MACDA Giants fan.